So, I love to complain. That's right. I'm just being honest. I love to complain on my show. I complain often with great vigor. I complain frequently and extemporaneously. Sometimes, you know what, I'm going to be honest. I go out of my way to look for things to complain about. Hey, we're all guilty of that every once in a while. But one thing I'd love to complain about on today's program are these two dim-witted cocksuckers. That's right. We got Jim Clyburn and Joe Biden. They did it to us once, and they're going to do it to us again. What are we going to do about it? Probably nothing. Clyburn reiterates support for Biden 2024. Quote, I see no reason for him not to run. So Joe Biden, I think, let's be honest here, given the State of the Union address, given that 70% of Americans are dumb enough to think that it was a good speech, Biden is going to run again. Joe Biden has been doing machinations behind the scenes to try to get South Carolina to become the first Democratic primary state to leapfrog New Hampshire. Again, New Hampshire Democrats are very upset about that. But, he's going to run again. I mean, the writing's on the wall. He was playing around with it. You know, I'm going to make my decision later. He's going to run. What does that mean for America? Well, it means we're going to have Biden versus Trump round 2. But what it also means is that it's an opportunity cost. Are we going to get another chance at Bernie Sanders? No. Bernie Sanders won't run against Joe Biden. My opinion, that's a bad move. But hey, whatever. There's talk around the town that Marianne Williamson is going to launch a primary against Joe Biden. I mean, again, my stance is I'll vote for anybody that's not Biden. When I get my ballot in the mail or whatever, I'm voting for whoever's not Biden in the primary. So I'll vote for her if she runs. But let's be honest, not going to do much. Let's be real. And now again, we'll see, right? But needless to say, I'm lukewarm on that. As much as I would want someone who's not Biden to become the Democratic nominee, I don't think Marianne Williamson is going to be able to beat incumbent President Joe Biden in a primary. I just don't see it happening, okay? But let's keep going. And by that, I mean let's start. Rep. Jim Clyburn reiterated his support for President Biden to run for re-election in 2024, saying, I see no reason for him not to run. Clyburn told the Financial Times. I love how he's doing interviews with places called the Financial Times. That's great. In an interview earlier this week that Biden is, quote, as decent as a person as you can have, deserves a second term in office. Well, this is the thing. Like, we're not going to measure his ability to govern. He's just a nice guy. So let's, give another 4 years. What's on his resume? Well, when you're in the room with him, he just makes you want to smile. He's a really nice guy. I mean, hey, I know a lot of nice guys, okay? But that doesn't mean I want them all to be president, okay? Nice guys, as nice as they can be, they don't often, and again, not mutually exclusive, but nice guys don't often have what it takes to be president of the United States. Now, again, some of them do, no question. But if we're going to be debating who should and who should not be president of the United States, I think them being a nice guy is not going to be on the top 10 list of reasons to vote for them. If someone were as mean as Donald Trump, but as progressive as Bernie Sanders, I would vote for them. Why? Because I don't give a shit about their attitude or demeanor. So that's just my opinion, right? But let's keep going. I see no reason for him not to run, and I'm very hopeful that he should run. I think he is deserving of a second term. I do not believe that anybody can do a better job of trying to get us back on track. I mean, that's a little bit of I talk a lot about on my show about how capitalism destroys child imagination. There's no reason, when we look at, the imagination phase of being a child, being able to play with, an action figure or a doll for 17 hours straight without any interruption or electronics. I guess kids nowadays maybe they're just playing Minecraft instead. I'm not sure. But when I was a kid, yeah, I'd play with toys. I'd entertain myself for hours and hours. I'd think about the world. What's up there in the sky? What's where's over there? That childhood imagination is something that capitalism really tries to destroy as soon as possible. Right? You go to school and next up you're thinking about what you want to be when you grow up. I'm 6 years old, motherfucker. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. What kind of bullshit question is that to ask a 6-year-old? Anyway, getting a little off subject here. But this is one of those examples. You really can't imagine anybody else who would be better suited to be president of the United States than Joe Biden. I mean, let's be honest here, man. These guys are dim. They're just not bright. You can't think of anybody else? My grandma would probably be better suited to be president than Joe fucking Schmo Biden. You know what I mean? But I digress. Clyburn's remarks come as after Biden gave his State of the Union address before a joint session, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Biden highlighted his accomplishments, blah, blah, blah. While he has not formally announced a re-election bid in 2024, Biden has said he intends to run. He is expected to declare his decision soon now that the State of the Union has passed. Now, again, I think he's going to announce it relatively soon. Why would that be? Because, again, he's got this big bump from the State of the Union. I wouldn't be surprised if he announced his run for president this month. I wouldn't be surprised. Also, incumbent presidents usually want to announce it sooner than later, so that there's no primary infrastructure that's built up, because they don't want that kind of stuff. They don't want anyone mounting a Democratic challenge against them. Now again, there's talk around the town that someone like Marianne Williamson might run. As much as I would support her, let's be honest, right? It's probably not going to go so well. But again, I'm definitely open to supporting her, or anybody. Again, anyone who's not Joe Biden. I will vote for them in a Democratic primary. I will write someone in. I will not vote for Joe Biden in a Democratic primary. I will write in, suck my dick underneath the field or whatever, or something like that. But anyway, Clyburn, you can often, a lot of people don't remember this. Maybe a lot of people do. He was one of the architects of Joe Biden winning in the 2020 primary. A lot of people say that Jim Clyburn, is the only reason why Joe Biden won the 2020 Democratic primary. I don't completely buy that. I think if Jim Clyburn didn't do what he did, I think someone else would have. I think Barack Obama would have done what he did, and that would have still done a lot of damage. But again, you can basically say Barack Obama and Jim Clyburn basically manipulated the primary to give it to Joe Biden. And I think most people that were paying attention at the time would understand that. I don't know if looking back through history, if it's that clear as it was at the time. But these are pretty powerful people like Jim Clyburn. So him saying this stuff, basically the way I see it, Joe Biden has already called Jim on the phone. Joe has already told Jim he's going to run. And Jim knows that Joe hasn't publicly said it yet. So this is part of the, they're going to just dabble it out there. Jim Clyburn's going to come out. Maybe you're going to have Kamala Harris do something. I don't know. Maybe you'll have a couple other people like Hakeem Jeffries might pop out of the woodworks. You might see Nancy Pelosi make a statement or something. And then Joe Biden's going to announce that he's running again. So this is part of the announcement strategy. As far as I'm concerned, this is the announcement, right? This is the announcement that there will be an announcement. But anyway, there you go. Hell on earth, folks.